All right, hello Tea Fieldy. Tonight I'm going to be showing you some New Year's mocktails that will, really make people gas, plus some tea pairings for your appetizers and some basically what we will call good luck meals. And these are some flavors that you will remember all year long, thinking back to this day. So we're going to get started and I'm going to say, welcome. What?
No picture.
No picture.
Oh, peaceful. It's no picture.
Well, we're going to get started with some technical difficulties, and I'm going to add it back. And I've got video up, so I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah. All right, everybody, hang with me, hang with me, hang with me. Let's bring it down. Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah, no.
Okay, everybody, sorry about that. Well, hello again. We're talking New Year's Eve mocktails, tea family, and some New Year's traditions. We're going to have some fun facts, some unusual facts, because I know how much you really love those. Of course, tea pairings for everything we do tonight. And then, yes, you did see my handy dandy assistant in the background, and that's because we didn't make it home from our trip today. We were supposed to make it home, but ran into a little storm and some other delays, and couldn't make it back in time to get set up for the live. So we are actually in a hotel right now and enjoying ourselves here while we get ready for the live. So that means everything's not going to be quite as dressy, shall we say, as it normally would be. But I do want to start tonight's live with a few announcements because we've got a lot of things that are going to be happening in January. And wow, there's probably some things that we've never done before. Yes, my handy dandy assistant does have a warm cup of coffee. Excuse me. Starting January 1st, again, all our prices are going to include sales tax, no surprises, no math, just the weight of getting it shipped to you. So that'll be good. The price you see is the price you pay plus shipping. I want to remind you that Winter's Kiss and Starlight Pear are available January 1st, unless you're a VIP, and they are officially available now, but only if you're a VIP. And I also wanted to remind you that Holiday and Dancing Plum are about to say hasta until next October. So this is your last call, so to speak, since we're doing some mocktails. Let's talk the terms. Last call for Holiday and Dancing Plum until October of 2026. So you're going to want to get that order in between now and the end of New Year's Eve, because when the clock strikes 2026, those aren't available again until October. All right. Also in January, we have a tea showdown. There's nothing I can do. A tea showdown. And that means each day you'll be voting. There'll be 2 teas going head to head. And that is what we can do. And then there'll be prizes. So one day you'll vote. The next day you'll see who won. And we're going to see which tea blend is the most popular and most people like the most. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're dealing with a really slow internet. I see there's comments coming in that I'm a little pixelated. I am on, unfortunately, a hotel Wi-Fi right now. So we're going to do the best we can. I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started as long as my handy dandy assistant doesn't knock everything over. But those are some of the ways we're going to be celebrating Hot Tea Month. Another one thing I want to talk about is in 2026, we're going to be talking about a tea of the week. More on that next week. Okay, so let's start making some mocktails, everybody. We are going to kind of let's start with a Winter's Kiss punch, so to speak. Think elegant, New Year's Eve party, pairs really well with a charcuterie board or a baked brie. This is the mocktail that will make other adults go, wait, this is a tea, because it doesn't taste like a traditional tea. Now, This is going to include Winter's Kiss. It also is 1 cup of Winter's Kiss tea, sparkling white grape juice, some frozen strawberry slices in there, a dash of vanilla or even a vanilla simple syrup. And this is one where I would actually add some of that like edible shimmer, edible glitter floss that you can have, that you can get at the stores right now. That would be perfect. And that is one of the ones that I want to talk about, because Winter's Kiss already is kind of what we put out as our Valentine's tea. It has that romantic holiday dessert kind of flavor, pairs really well with chocolate as well. And we wanted to try and turn it into a sparkling punch. Brew it strong, don't be shy on that one. Equal parts tea and sparkling juice, and then throw in the frozen strawberries, those are little flavor ice cubes to add along the way. And then right at the end, right as everybody's putting it, you put that out and then have little bits of the glitter balm shimmer, I don't know what you want to call it, the glitter floss in the glass itself, in the bottom of the glass. And then when you go ahead and you pour the punch into it, it will make a really cool effect. And that's just a really fun New Year's Eve tea. And again, a charcuterie board, a baked brie, you're gonna have the fruitiness match against the richness. The cinnamon is gonna add some warmth to the fruitiness. This is also a great one for not just brie, but cheese. That is amazing with that, and it'll bring out some more of the flavors in the cheese. So fun fact, in ancient Persia, people used to add rose petals to drink for celebration, which would include New Year's Eve. So I guess that makes this kind of a drink in Winter's Kiss a historically festive drink. So that is kind of what I had. But we're going to go ahead and make some mocktails now. Now, I need you to forgive me because I do not have all my ingredients here. I don't have my shaker and all that stuff. So we had to kind of do this on the road. I am going to be using Highland Dawn. I love that Diane is drinking some Tiger Eye Chai. I don't know what anybody else is drinking right now other than my handy dandy assistants having warm coffee. We did drive through snow, which is kind of funny because a week ago we were talking about how it was 85 in Texas when we were there, and now we're back to the snow zone and it was snowing today. It's kind of a little crazy out there for us, but I'm using Highland Dawn, which is a really nice Scottish breakfast blend black tea, but I have brewed it up already. And if my handy dandy would bring that cup over here, because I did forget to do that myself. All right, so we are going to get started, and we are going to do kind of a tea mocktail version of an old fashioned. And I have my instructions right here, because like I said, I am not as prepared as I normally am. Let me put that down there so it just doesn't get all reflective. Okay, so what you're going to want is about 4 ounces of the tea, and we're going to actually kind of do it like this. You're going to want about 4 ounces of the tea, of whatever black tea you want. Now, I would go with a straight black tea. I'm using Highland Dawn, but I would stick to Morning Irish, Breakfast Blend, Highland Dawn, not teas that necessarily have the cinnamon and everything in them, just because you're trying to get this certain flavor. But if you love it with the cinnamon, it's okay to use Serene Sunrise or an Irish Sunrise or something on that idea. So I have 4 ounces of my tea. I also want to add about 2 to 3 dashes of, now I'm going to go with orange bitters. So you could do a sunset black, which is a black tea and orange zest tea. And then what was my other thing? Ah, yes, you're going to want to add, I would say about a ½ ounce of old-fashioned simple syrup. So what is in an old-fashioned simple syrup? Allow me to read the bottle. It's got sugar. Obviously, it's got a natural cherry flavor. It has some orange extract in there, and then it has some natural bitters flavor. So where they're doing it, and it's completely alcohol free. It is just an old fashioned simple syrup that I picked up. Now, got on my hands. Oh darn. Oh well. So add that in. Those are going to really bring out some of the oaky flavors and different things that you would normally get from the whiskey that or the bourbon that would go in your old fashioned. At this point, you would normally kind of stir that up or whatnot. I'm just going to do this. I don't have my fancy shaker, so I'm going to mix it up like this. We are going to grab our glass, and this is where it gets difficult. Now, obviously, you would not use your hands to reach in, and a lot of times you would do just one big ice cube for something like this, especially one of the square ones to make it fancy. But again, we're on the road right now, and so we are dealing with limited options in how to address this stuff up. But have it on the rocks, so you'll pour this right over it. You'll get a nice, beautiful color to that. And then here's the other thing you could do that would really kind of dress it up is you could get an a sugar cube, especially a honey sugar cube. One, if you wanted to bring out more of the kind of the bitters in there, one that has a similar flavor to the bitters. And then I know a lot of times that old fashions, typically you've got the orange zest or the cherry in the middle, but I thought rather than that, we have this, which is just a really cute little fork, but nobody says you have to use a fork the correct way. We kind of stick that in there as our garnish, and then we've got a little bit of peach and cherry right there on top. Makes it really cute. It still has the same effect. I'll say cheers. Okay. Really amazing flavor. The tea, the orange, the bitters and the old-fashioned syrup really bring out that flavor. And I have to say, having the peach on the end, my nose got a whiff of the peach. It was really, really nice.
QAQC.
QAQC. For those of you who are not in the military, that means quality control kind of a thing. And so he had to try. I know, it's really good. It is really good. I love the smell of the peach as I bring it up because it's already got my taste buds going. So then when I taste the tea with the bitters and the orange zest or the old-fashioned simple syrup in there, it is amazing. But I would definitely recommend this one 100%. Okay. Now, a second one, let's move on. And I'm going to do this one a little bit different. I've got, for this one, we're going to call this one a Sunlit Peach Mocktail. I have 4 ounces of Sunlit Orchard brewed really, really strong in here, to which I'm going to add, I already added a little bit of lemonade, which is why it's a little lighter. I'm going to add, I added about a half ounce, and I just added about another half ounce, so probably about an ounce of lemonade to that. Now you could do lemon juice and more of a simple syrup, but however you wanted to do that to balance with that Sunlit Orchard. Remember, that is an apple ginger tea. And then on this one, okay, we're gonna put you aside for a sec. This one, I would add a peach nectar, but if you don't have that, just add a little bit of peach juice. And then again, I'm going to stir it up my way that I have right now. As I still make a mess. Doesn't matter. I just always seem to make a mess when I'm on here. Okay, let's go ahead. Some ice cubes. Now, obviously, the best way to do this is to make your ice cubes from the tea, but it's not like we had a freezer in our vehicle. All right. And to this, I do want to finish it off with a little fizz and a little something. So I'm going to add ginger ale, probably about 2 ounces, maybe 3. That's going to add some bubbles to it. It's also going to really bring out some more of that ginger flavor from the Sunlit Orchard tea. Now, to this, you could do a sugar stick like this. They have them in all different flavors. Now, this one's a lemon one, so I'm actually not going to put it in there because it's not the flavor profile that I want for this. But again, we've got that little peach wedge. You could kind of put it right here like this, and then it drops in, and that's fine. And then you could put another one on top. Either way, really great. Let's try. And that one's even better. Did you want to try that one too? You have to try that one too. So that peach at the bottom really adds into and adds with the ginger and the apple and the pear. Makes a really light, healthy. I know, it's amazing, isn't it? That peach, almost, it's got a peach, apple, ginger, lemonade. It's good. It's really light. It's really light. That's the other thing. Really light. And you know, so many people, we get into January and they are definitely wanting to lighten up. They're wanting to be healthier and enjoy healthier things. This is a nice mocktail. You can make it as fancy with fresh peach, obviously, and then whatever kind of sugars or non-sugars that you're having. So. All right.
Say hi, Missy.
Hi, Missy. How are you? So that one, we are just calling it our Sunlit Peach Mocktail. It's another really good one. And you can just dress up this as fancy as you want. We just used a snowflake glass because we thought winter, moving away from kind of like the Hanukkah, Christmas, and moving into New Year's and winter. And so we thought this was perfect. But this is a really nice glass. And even if you're just wanting to relax, this is a great mocktail. The Starlight Pear, no, the Sunlit Orchard tea is actually caffeine free. So it's a great one that you could have at the end of the day. So that is this mocktail. We have one more that we are going to do here together. And it too involves black tea. Now this one, I am going to use this sugar cube because this sugar cube is a little different, but I'm going to come back to that in a second. Okay, so we're going to start. Could you pour some more black tea in that for me, please? Sure. I need about 3 to 4 ounces of black tea. And we have it brewed, and we always brew our hot tea and then let it cool naturally. And then we are all set. So there's our tea. Then to that, I want to add about 1 ounce of apple juice-ish. Again, the apple juice is how we're getting really a lot of our sweetness, most of our sweetness. Now, here's where we're going to add something really special. And I'm actually not going to add it all. I'm only going to add part of it. But this is a rose maple syrup sugar cube. So it's going to have maple syrup, cane sugar, and some edible rose petals in here. You could also make this yourself, and you could use honey as opposed to maple syrup. But another way to be super healthy. So now I'm going to open it up. I've been so excited. The rose petals are going to add a honey note anyway. I always tell people the rose petals and things add a honey note, not a floral note. And if I could get my handy dandy assistant to cut this in half, that would be great. I don't want to use the whole thing in here. This is a really, really big one. And you could just give me part of it. There we go. All right, so, and this is what it looks like on the inside. Well, we're gonna go ahead and add this in. Now, it is easy to do this. As you can see, it's starting to bubble up. I would typically add this sugar cube when the tea was hot, and then it would be melted by the time we got to this point, but that is okay. It is telling me my battery is running low, so babe, over here. Did it unplug when it fell? All right.
You don't plug in now?
Yeah, right here, this power is plugged into that switch over there, is plugged into the switch over there. Yep, see? Sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties. We'll get that plugged in. Hopefully that'll solve some of our problems. Okay.
Good.
It's not, there we are. All right. All right, so this is now dwindling down, but if you added this warm, you can get to see you have a little bit. So I'm gonna add this right here. And you start to get a little bit of the rose petals on top. Those are crushed up pretty well. But you could do the same thing with whatever you wanted in there. If you're really into mint, you could do mint. I have one. If you really want to do mint, you could do mint. You could do rose petals. You could do rosemary would be a nice one for some of our tea mocktails, whatever kind you want. But I really wanted this because it's going to have that honey note to it. We've added the tea and the apple juice. And then I like having fizz with mine. So I'm going to add a little bit of ginger ale, but that one's maybe an ounce, just a tiny bit of fizz. Just a little bit. And then again, we have another fun mocktail. This one, I have a piece of apple and a piece of cherry on the end. And again, this is just a simple little party fork. I'm putting it in here upside down. Nobody says you have to put the fork in the glass the correct way. So I'll say cheers. Wow.
Sweet.
It's actually not too sweet. I didn't use that much apple juice and the sugar is still dissolving, but it's a really nice flavor. I can taste some of the notes from yeah, it's got a nice aroma. And then I can taste some of the notes from that sugar cube in there, adding it in there and just really bringing kind of all the flavors perfectly together for this mocktail. Now, again, you could do this one with or without the soda. I know some people don't want to have carbonated waters, but this is one that would be perfect. Again, I just used our Highland Dawn tea because that's what I had. This is another one. If you had a peeling left, you could use a peeling. You could do the Serene Sunrise with a little bit of cinnamon. In fact, that's the other thing you could do is imagine that this is a cinnamon sugar stick. So it's just a paper stick and it's wet down and you have some sugar that maybe like some cinnamon sugar put away and you roll the stick in it and it holds on there and you let it dry and then you can stick it in something like this. And it makes it fun, but it also adds some flavor and some sweetness to it. If I did that, I would not be adding I would add even less of the apple juice just because otherwise it'll get too sugary for me. Or I would add much less I would maybe even do a quarter of a sugar cube as and keep my apple juice the same. So those are some of the things, but just really simple mocktails that are fun. Now, what would I pair this with? Well, we come back to this one, our peach one. I would pair this with any of our chickens. I would pair this with nice caprese bites. Also, I would think of things like lighter foods, fish, fruit trays, veggies with like a veggie dip, that sort of thing. This one is perfect for your ham dinner if that's what you do on New Year's or New Year's Eve. You could also do this particular one. This is great for chicken salad sandwiches. I would do with this one. I would do, I'm trying to think, meatballs, especially barbecue meatballs that you see as a lot of appetizers. A lot of people do that. They do a lot of finger foods and appetizers for their New Year's celebrations or their New Year's Day, game food even, because I know there's a lot of football games on those days, and that would be really perfect to go into your meat or heartier dishes. The black tea is going to have enough. It's especially going to play off. The black tea would really complement and contrast well with anything that's barbecued or smoked or anything like that. So those are the teas that we are going to make, the mocktails that we're going to make today. But I did want to talk a little bit about some of the typical like New Year's era, like New Year's Eve and New Year's Day foods. In the South US, one of the things we'll find are a lot of people will have their black-eyed peas, their greens, their cornbread, those kinds of things. And I would be pairing those with like Winter's Kiss. The strawberry and the cinnamon are going to have with the hearty greens. They're really going to go together. I know it sounds a little unusual, but like it's a really great pairing. Also, you could go with, on those, you could also go with like the Starlight Pear. You could go with the Sunlit Orchard. You're going to have some similar flavor notes. Now, in the Midwest and as well in New England, where we grew up, a very traditional New Year's Day meal was ham, potatoes, and rolls. I mean, it was a ham dinner on New Year's Day. And for that, I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to recommend, you could go with the Starlight Pear, but I'm also going to say like an Emerald Garden or one of our straight black teas, because the ham is going to really, the smokiness of the black tea again is going to balance again with that ham, etc. But don't be afraid to experiment with like the Emerald Garden green tea, the gentle fruit of the Starlight Pear. Those are going to balance the saltiness of the ham really, really well. Now, Italian Americans, a lot of times they will use some lentils to symbolize prosperity. And so I would definitely be pairing these with a bold black tea. The lentils, here's your fun facts. Lentils represent coins. So we want to brew something really rich to kind of match the abundance. And so I am going to go with Serene Sunrise. I'm going to be going with Morning Irish, Highland Dawn, really Onyx Chai would be perfect in here. You know, those are kind of those foods and those different. And that's something else I would say with the ham. You could definitely go with a chai blend. All right, so some other good luck foods. A lot of times people want to start the year with good luck because of their traditions and things like that. And so one of the fun things is that I found that some cultures actually eat grapes at midnight, and they think of this as a good luck food. So if you're going to do that, I'm going to be having you pair that with the Sunlit Orchard, or even this mocktail that we had with the Sunlit Orchard in it. That would be a really, really nice pairing. Now, if it is long noodles, I want you to pair those with an ancient green dragon tea or an emerald garden. Basically, we want to stick to kind of lighter green, very herbal teas to balance with those noodles. Some cultures are actually pomegranates, and what really pairs best with pomegranates would be hibiscus blends. So you could get an afternoon delight, but here's where nautical twilight will absolutely shine. And has the benefit of also helping to settle your stomach if you over imbibed on New Year's Eve. But that ginger hibiscus really is going to pair extremely well with the pomegranates, bring out so much more of the depth of flavors for that. So that is what I would pair with some of those New Year's Day good luck foods. I wanted to kind of do that. And then, you know, it's kind of an odd thing, but in many cultures, the food represents cycles and continuity. So technically, this is why they want to start January 1st with that luck. Before we jump away, I do want to say, please forgive the quality of the video this week. We are traveling. We're on a hotel Wi-Fi because we did not make it home in time like we had hoped. So I will, if it is really bad, I should have a good copy that I will be able to post later. But I do want to apologize for that. And then watch for our tea showdown coming in January. We want lots of votes. Every other day we'll have two teas facing off against each other, and then we'll announce the winner, and kind of like a tea tournament, but way friendlier than that. And so we'll want you to vote, and we'll want you to participate, because there will be prizes out there. And we thought this is a perfect way to start a fresh year, as well as January is hot tea month. So we wanted to do that and remind everybody. Now, before I get going, does anybody have any questions for me? Go ahead and put them in the chat or comments. I'm going to give you a chance to do that. I understand there's a huge delay, so I will talk a little bit longer than I normally do, and say, if you make any of these mocktails or any tea-based, we've got 3 of them, any tea-based mocktails at all, please take a picture, put it on your social media, tag us in it. I'd love to see some of your creations. Let us know how you enjoy the teas. I don't know which one my handy dandy assistant's going to actually end up with. He'll probably drink all 3 of them as soon as I get off. I'm waiting to see any questions or comments before we get in there. Just know that I love to see your creations, and I love to share them and see your creativity. And I don't see any questions or comments coming in. I've tried to give you some extra time. So let me wrap up by saying, I really want your new year to be filled of warmth and joy, and the kind of tea that you sip and think, yes, that's exactly what I needed in that moment. And I wish you all nothing but the best. I will see you all here next Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Time. Diane, thank you. We stopped because we could have not done the live, but we needed to be safe when we were going through the snow. So thank you for the safe travels. I know some of our other people, like Kim, are also traveling today, and I don't know if they stopped or not, but we decided, yes, we're going to be safe. So thank you for that. And I wish you all a very happy new year. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and a great holiday. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.